All Things TechIE podcast is a product of the Extreme Media Network. For advertising and sponsorship opportunities, please visit www.extrememedia.ie. That's XTREME media.ie.
Welcome along. It's the All Things TechIE podcast, episode 56. Believe it or not, the first time we've done a podcast in over 3 months, and our first one of 2022. We apologise. I apologise. It's just, well, I'm going to use that terrible excuse that I had COVID in the house, and I did have COVID or last week when we were planning to do this in early February, and got knocked back for 2.5 weeks with COVID going around the house. That's sort of my excuse, mixed with,
life
and having a family, and Simon has like nearly about 6 months old now.
10 months. 10 months.
Where did that 10 months go? My
Yeah,
God.
I know.
10-month-old baby boy who's probably like
Wrecking the house.
Wrecking the house now. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Climbing, walking nearly at this point.
Ah, bless. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's little Ben going? He's
Right,
having
yeah.
fun.
Oh yeah, and eating like crazy as well, of course.
Oh, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's going to be like, is Daddy big and like strong and running around the place, and Rebecca's loving it as well, yeah?
Oh yeah, of course. Someone to play with and put her hair.
Of course, the fact that like Rebecca was an only child for so long, and now she has a little brother. It's dying for Daddy's attention as soon as Daddy comes home, yeah?
Yeah, home as in I never leave home because I work from home all the time, more or less.
And you know what? This is the topic of episode 56 of the All Things TechIE podcast. Let's throw this splash screen if you want to get in touch with All Things TechIE. Our official website is www.allthingstech.ie. We have the hashtag and our Twitter following as AV Tech Junkies. We are now streaming to LinkedIn because we thought this would be cool if we have our show on LinkedIn because we have a lot of followers on LinkedIn. So we're going to start streaming our program and our videos live on LinkedIn. So you can watch us there as well, and you can comment, and we will bring your comments into our next episode if we don't get to them straight away as well. So allthingstech.ie, at Simon Lang AV for Simon, and at Justin Orr Dawson for myself, where you see I'm a Sir Justin Orr Dawson now. I should really give the background of this. Have you actually followed the micronation of Sealand, Simon?
No, I've never heard of it until you got it.
Since the 1960s, this micronation has been off the coast of England, and the beginnings of pirate radio. And I just, you know me, I love pirate radio since I was a teen. That
You'd never guess, would you?
No, never guess. What? Down with the power to the people. Where's my camera? I keep on forgetting my camera setup now. I used to have a camera over here, and now it's over here. Power to the people. I'm going to talk about cameras as well, but our main topic. So if you want to find out more about Sealand, I'll throw up the link in the show notes as well. But I am now knighted under the Order of the Military of Sealand, so I'm a sir now as well. And I bought, those type of things where you can buy a piece of land. I bought Jen a piece of land in Scotland, so she's now Lady Jennifer Dawson. Of a castle restore as well.
It's like it was these like a little square meter or something like that.
I own a square meter of Sealand, which is like this like oil rig platform off the coast of England. That is outside of British sea waters. So that's how they actually made themselves a principality back in 1967. Great story. Oh, like there's an actual book called Defending the Fort by Prince Michael of Sealand, and it tells of him being a teenager and going out 6 miles out of the English coast to Sealand and defending it during the pirate radio days and Radio Caroline and everything. Crazy, like throwing petrol bombs over the side at UK naval ships as they tried to take back this platform out in the English Sea. Crazy. Anyway, right, getting on to the program. We're going to be talking about the working from home environment, and like we're talking off mic just earlier, Simon, and it's like COVID has never existed as we go apparently into World War III. I don't believe that. Anyways, we're not going to talk politics as much as possible. We're not going to talk about
Hmm.
politics. We might talk about how this war, not World War, is affecting technology and getting components. But it's like COVID hasn't existed. How did you avoid COVID? I'm not trying to
Jinx me.
jinx you, but how have you avoided COVID so far?
Now, in most cases, because I work from home, I'm not going anywhere. So the only person that could bring it in is Rebecca from school.
And thank
And
God she hasn't.
no, and as well as that, I think like anyone I've been around, haven't spread too far, and I've been fairly cautious. Like I was out today, and because most places we go now, it's still optional masks.
Yeah,
So I just wear it all the time at the
yeah.
moment. I still wear it. I know I was in the medical facility as well, so you have to wear it still there. But generally, like I was down in the supermarket, I still wear it, my mask and stuff like that. And the same with going to mass and stuff like that. So you're still wearing masks all the time, and that helps, I think, for now. But I think, yeah, I think a lot of people I spoke to said they'll just wait till the summer, and then they'll probably stop wearing them then.
I am getting more lapsed now because now I work in a university in Dublin. Um, the rule is that they should still wear face masks in the theaters, I believe. Yeah, I don't think it's optional yet, or they've extended it for another month, even though everywhere else is optional. You see, walk into shopping centres, somewhere I say maybe like 10% that are still wearing face masks. But there's times where like I'm walking around campus and I'm getting a bite to eat and I'm going in between buildings and just going, oh, I forgot to put on my face mask there or whatever, and you're in the lobby of the building, and then you're walking down the stairs and go over, I better put on my face mask and in my back pocket. But it feels that more people are just going, okay, we can relax this a little.
I
Like,
know, yeah, because I know as recently. So I was traveling into a site visit midweek,
mm,
and everyone on the train was wearing the mask. We then were going into town on Sunday, and nearly no one on the train was wearing masks. And that, I think, is the difference between the working people who are going into an office environment versus the people socially. They're just like, I want to get out and of this house and
or
be
is it the
free.
fact that like on Sundays, like there's less people on trains and buses that they just go,
Yeah.
okay,
I didn't notice, but I just think it's just a different crowd of people
yeah.
who have a different mindset. It's like get out, get fresh air versus people who are going to work and they're just like, I just want to keep safe.
Well,
And
like for a guy that has had COVID now, and thankfully not as bad as other people that had it and previous symptoms and um, variants of this COVID. I think what has helped. I am fully vaccinated. I'm not afraid to say that, and I have had my booster, and I'm glad I have. But Kieran was close contact in school, got it. You would swear that he never had it. He showed no symptoms for the whole week. My wife then got it, and we just said once it was in the house, like there's no hopes in.
yeah, because you can't isolate as a parent because you've such small kids, and
Yeah,
that would be my
exactly.
situation as
Yeah.
well.
So didn't try and bother, and then literally the day that Jen was testing negative on antigen tests and finishing off her week was the day that I woke up the next morning, and it just felt like I was like a different type of grogginess where you just go, no, this is something. Jen woke up the first day that she had COVID and thought she had a really bad hangover and it affected. But like I had a snotty nose and a bit of a dry cough or whatever. Now I know there's people that have other underlying illnesses that it could affect them, and I think it's still important that we do wear face masks from time to time and so forth. And I think it is going to take a couple more months. But without going down the COVID route too much, right? People have been asked to return to work in Ireland. And then the government have brought out this new ruling of working from home.
Yeah, it's
You,
called, I was actually just looking at the right, well, it's just getting in my head, the right to request remote working bill.
yeah. So pretty much the ruling of this bill is that an employer should have a valid reason as to why an employee can't work from home if they go and request it. For example, okay, we're AV technicians or whatever. You will have to go out to site to finish a job
Mm.
for a client. For me, I work on a campus, you know, so there is days that I will have to be doing live events. I can't be at home, but I think there has to be a valid reason that an employer rather, would have to say, no, Simon, no, Justin, you have to be on your desk and at your desk on site 5 days a week or 6 days a week, depending on your job.
And I actually think if most employees were told that, they'd probably leave.
And they call it the Great Resignation after COVID, and you see that globally, listeners. So, like we both changed job during the COVID pandemic,
Yeah.
but it wasn't just because of COVID, but like it was an opportunity for both of us to expand into and find a job that we enjoyed. Fine, but 100%, like there has been companies that in Ireland, and we won't name the companies, but I'm sure Simon can think of a couple as well, that went down the route and told their employees, "Oh, you can work from home indefinitely. This is our new way." To downsizing their building and moving to another area of Dublin, and then physically requesting that employees come back to the workplace. These are a mixture of financial firms, tech firms, etc. Like there's a couple that used to be in the city centre of Dublin that's moved out to City West. I know neighbours that are living in beside me in North County Dublin who are now asked to travel into City West and had to debate it with their employer and come to an agreement that they only travel in once a week. Like,
Yeah. And that seems to be the norm. I think that I'm starting to hear that seems to be the norm now. It's like either 2 days in, 3 days optional, where you choose where you want to work, or 3 days in and 2 days. I'm hearing a lot of companies, the offices are busy on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Monday and Friday they're dead because everyone wants to make the weekends longer and easier.
but surely, like that's where employers have to balance it out and go if they're using a building that they don't want all employees taking a 5 day weekend. Now, don't get me wrong, people are working from home, but there's the pros and cons of working from home, and I think Simon and I have both experienced that. Like, as my emails come into my work into my phone, I have a dual SIM phone, a Huawei um, dual SIM phone, but um, all my emails come in, both my personal and my work ones, and when you see an alert, you just go, "Ooh, oh, that's work," but you're still reading it.
Mm.
So, do you ever switch off from work? You
And see,
know,
that's the hard bit. It's like if you're kind of working on stuff, it's like, oh, 5 more minutes, and it's another half an hour. And it's like, okay, you need to, it's about discipline. It's
it,
about,
it,
you have to
it,
learn about. So there is the advantage of going into the office is you are disciplined because you have to probably get a train or a bus or drive
and then
at a particular time.
a lot of, especially in higher education, they do the Athena Swan, and the Athena Swan is also about equality and diversity and so forth. But one of the things that I always heard in Athena Swan was that the company's short off time from emailing people should be at X time, and I try and still keep to that. That like if I'm going to email someone, I'll schedule the email to arrive in their inbox the next
Yeah.
morning at 9 o'clock or something like that. And I sort of me as well. I just think it as rude as well. Like sometimes I let it go because I say to myself, right, that person could be in the same position as me. They have young kids, they're working from home, they're trying to finish something off, they just want a response tonight, and I'll send them a quick response or saying I'll get to that in the morning. But we do still need to break this habit of working.
It's working end work, family time,
Yeah,
and not kind of blur them. Or I don't know. Like I agree with you, but then there is the people, as you say, who are with with kids, and often here they go back and do an hour or two when the kids go to bed.
mm.
But
Do you still do that?
sometimes, but
Yeah,
not very often. Not
yeah,
that often. It's it's one of those kind of like depends on deadlines, the situations and stuff like that. Sometimes there's just deadlines you just have to try and make, and
yeah.
that's just the way it is. And other times it's like it's the resistance of just like, okay, when I'm finished, I actually shut the computer down.
And for I know you have a 10-month-old now, so like you're up early. So sometimes you just go, you know what? I can get through a book a load of my emails before 7 o'clock in the morning. I'll get through them and
Hmm.
know that I'd have an hour to have some family time if I'm working from home, and then I'll take up again.
Yeah, or to see, I suppose in my with me, the advantage is I'm around in the morning to help get the kids out to school,
Mm-hmm.
get them dressed, get them out. So there's just that while you're trying to feed a 10-month-old and try to get a 6-year-old ready for school, it can be just a bit of a minefield sometimes. So it often that's what I love about working from home is I have that I can at least do that, or at least I can walk down and get a cup of tea. But I do kind of like the idea of being in an office too, where you can kind of just a little bit more social work interaction and
And
you
that
can collaborate easier sometimes.
I think it's essential that we do have the flexibility. Now, I love to hear, and we open this up to our listeners, that would you rather be at home full time work from home? Would you like to be full time in the office, or do you like the hybrid flexible approach? And we love for you to get in contact. Our email address is comments at allthingstech.ie. You can tweet either Simon or myself, or use the show hashtag. We love to hear your comments on it. Would you rather be at home full time, work on site full time, or you like the flexible approach to it? But Simon, I think more and more like look at Ireland at the moment. Look, and it was even bad before Russia went into Ukraine that our petrol prices, the government have even tried to take 20% off a litre. We're still hitting at €2
Yeah.
a
Now
litre on
I read
petrol
enough.
and diesel at the moment.
I read an article today that the petrol stations increased it yesterday. So when they take the 20% off, it goes back to the same high price.
Yeah. So we
So
have like there has to
we
be
haven't
some
gained anything like.
there has to be some regulation that's brought in to stop these prices going through the roof. And then well, let's talk tech a bit, right? Like I know family members that want to buy an electric car, and most of these electric cars were manufactured and built in Russia. So you can't get an electric car at the moment.
Yeah, and then if we go down the whole chip shortage thing, there's chips in cars, and that's also leading into backlogs as well. So it's, but my thing about the cars is the distance thing as well. So that until they get the distance where you can go coast to coast in Ireland without a charge, I'm not really interested.
In previous episodes of the All Things Techie podcast, we've talked about these digital hubs that are being set up in old buildings across Ireland. Would you be in favour of like if you didn't have the environment of and there is people that rent apartments and stuff like that and have shared apartments in Ireland. I think these hubs are fantastic ideas. And why, if a big company is downsizing their building, why wouldn't they make their employees use one of these digital hubs?
No, I think like if you were given a budget every year that you could use on digital hubs, I think that would be an interesting approach. 'cause I know some people who use them, but I think where they use them, which is quite interesting, is when they want to have a quick meeting with, say, a client or something. Like you can just book one of the rooms in the digital hub, and you can have a meeting there and then, and an in-person meeting.
Yeah.
And there's some of them, like I think there's some that even have small event spaces and stuff like that if you were wanted to do some kind of promotional event and or something like that. But I think the advantage of that is if you don't want to go in, you don't pay for it.
Yeah.
Or you buy your desk or you pay for your desk for a month and
Truly,
it's there.
it's like this whole working from home environment can save employers a lot of money. Now, some people say no, it won't, because you have to. Where does it leave the the work from home safety at home?
Mm,
Like, is a load of employees in 5 or 10 years' time going to complain about having a bad back because they were setting their laptop on an ironing board because they didn't have space? Like, who's going into people's houses and monitoring it? Or are employers asking employees to sign a declaration saying, well, it's up to you to, it's your own risk if you
yeah.
don't have the right desk or the right chair to sit at or the right footstool or whatever. It's a bit of a Pandora's box on that, and I also think it's a bit of a Pandora's box with regards to IT security. Now, a lot of companies now I've seen that, like, are from COVID into now, are saying, right, well, you have to VPN in and using virtual environments. Have you seen more of that through?
Yeah, and I've heard of that, and there's a lot more connected. You're because you're using company computers,
Mm,
they're already fairly protected in most companies, and they're, as you say, working over a VPN all the time, even from your home network. So it's securing the data and stuff like that. But yeah, IT security is becoming a massive thing. And I suppose the antivirus stuff and everything like that, it's that's where I think companies are protecting. And but then cloud has come on so much in the last 2 years.
mm,
If you're on the Office 365 platform, the cloud is quite secure. It's probably one of the most secure out there, along with the Google suite,
mm.
which is, to be honest, I think they're the two. I don't know of any other out there. You're either Google place or you're an Office 365
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of Microsoft place. So it's one or the other, and the both
Well,
are hyper
let's look
secure.
at. Okay, we're talking about cloud there, but let's look at Zoom. I know I think on every episode, listeners, I sort of sell the Zoom products, but Zoom have come out with a virtual call center as their new products. I'm still on the fence on, will this, like, for a customer, the whole idea of having a virtual call center is brilliant. Will employers buy into this, and will employees of these companies like the fact that I started my days on an IT help desk, and I used to cringe when I got the same type of regular call of going, just restart the computer, it'll be fine, or
Yeah.
no, no, press the button, and like my eyes would nearly be closed. Would I want the customer on the other end of the line being able to see my face as I cringed because they weren't following instructions? No, I wouldn't. But yeah, but still, for the the customer, it's a great experience. But not only that, it is opening the opportunity more and more for employees to work from home.
Hmm.
Um, if they're doing these call centers, and it's given that extra layer of loyalty to customers if they can see the face of the person that they're talking to and be able to go, I don't get it, or
Yeah.
be able to remote on to. And I think Zoom has taken that extra step of allowing people to. Well, Zoom since COVID have grown leaps and bounds, and so has Microsoft Teams. But this extra layer of the call center, being able to, and between that and also their remote hospitality suite, I think Microsoft Teams were trying to do something similar, but literally that, like, it's a remote lobby that someone walks in to an office space. You don't have to have a reception person. They can go up and go, I want to either book a room, or I want to call and say that I'm here, and the person will come down and welcome me in.
So you kind of joined a Zoom room, basically.
Yeah.
So
a virtual reception type of thing. I think like this is bringing in the ability for people to, but not only that, like, okay, like I've said it before, and I need to write blogs on it as well. That, do students want to be on campus? Yes or no? Yes, it's a great experience if you're just 18, 19 years of age and you want to have the campus life. But there's mature students as well that just go, I'd rather have an online course or a 90% online course and just get my qualification.
I don't need to interact with other people. I just want to get my, as you say, learn my bit, write my papers, submit my stuff, and do my exam, and then get my accreditation.
Mixed with the fact, Simon, that we know not just for student accommodation, but for accommodation in Dublin City, is the rental prices. There's a house shortage in Ireland. The rental prices are through the roof, versus the fact of being able to work from home or study from home.
And I suppose then that kind of does lead like, there's the cost of studying. But the other advantage of being all online is you don't have to be near Dublin to attend Trinity College or UCD or Oxford or Cambridge or any of these ones. Now, there's a few colleges like that. They've gone completely virtual, that you actually can get accreditation from a well-known international university without leaving your home.
I remember one lecturer at the beginning of COVID turned around to me and said, "Oh, but we're not the Open University." And I thought, that is so small-minded. So small-minded thought that we're not the Open University. Wow. Have they been proven wrong? Because every university in Ireland and further afield are welcoming these hybrid courses.
And I'm definitely seeing an interest that lots of classrooms are being kitted out to be hybrid. So there is the students who want to still turn up on campus, but then the students who are at home get the exact same experience as being in the room.
Now, I know faculty members have turned around and said it's very hard to teach in the hybrid approach. And sometimes I think that comes down to the technology in the room. Other times I have to think that you have to have the ability to go, right, I'm talking to the people physically in front of me. And this goes for any live or hybrid event. I'm talking to the people physically in front of me, but I'm also going to talk to the people that's on the outside world virtually, and try and get the two areas interacting with each other. And that is talent. Like, sometimes you can forget about one or the other, you know.
And you know, like, if you're my impression, I guess, of some colleges is you're in a lecture theatre of maybe 300-400 students. You're not really interacting with them. You're just spilling information at them, and they are absorbing what you throw at them, hopefully. And so, does it matter if they're in front of you or virtually in front of you? You don't care from that. But I guess if it's a course that requires a little bit more interaction, like if you're something that is a course that's maybe more practical, like engineering, or like kind of wood related or art related, or any of those things where you nearly need to show someone, that's where the technology can be sometimes hard to get. So if you're demoing how to make something, trying to show that virtually takes a little bit of planning and thinking. It's not just something you rock up the day and decide, okay, we're going to dismantle this engine so we know how it works electronically. Like, you have to think about that.
And that's where us AV guys come into play, and trying to find solutions that fits every scenario in a lecture theatre or in other places as well.
Because something I was told today, I don't know about Zoom, but Teams has just released where they can connect now up to some Teams rooms 3 cameras.
Yeah, and Zoom does similar as well.
But that's a content camera, isn't it, or something? Is there a something like that to call it, or something?
But
But
you can do similar Zoom with D10, which is owned by Zoom, but Zoom or D10 offer that same experience where you can have up to three cameras, one 4K and two HDMI. I think it's the way it works. On their dual D10s, and be able to flip between and voice recognition flips between the cameras.
yeah, like so in those education situations where you need a camera, say pointing at a desk over something, like I've seen recently, like cookery schools where you like have cameras like you see on those TV cookery programs with a camera overhead, camera right at front. Then of course you still need your camera back at the
And this is where we're
people
going.
attending.
This is where we're going on our next point of this episode of our podcast. The tech that's behind the scenes, right? What would you? First of all, let's start off with what would you? Okay, let's throw out our contact details again. If you want to get in contact with the program, here's the slide up on screen to get in contact with us. At Justin or Dawson for myself, at Simon Lang AV, or our AV Tech Junkies Twitter handle as well. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and we're streaming as well on LinkedIn now as well. So, Simon, basic setup for home office.
Dual screen
Just
at a minimum.
Absolutely, at least
At a minimum.
Yeah, I still can't believe people like still squint over a laptop and
Yeah.
try and have the notes side by side. You know,
I've heard of people sitting in front of the TV and the TV becomes their screen. It's like a big 65-inch computer screen.
Having said that, now the latest Windows 11. I don't know, have you upgraded to Windows 11?
I have a sample machine, yes, on Windows 11.
So like the snap tool on Windows 11 is awesome. Even if you have one screen, at least you can snap it the applications into different windows. Now it makes things very small depending on what screen you have. But if as you say you're working off your TV screen, the 65-inch screen, that snapping tool is awesome.
Yeah.
If your IT department has upgraded to Windows 11 and allowed that.
Probably not most companies out there.
Yeah. If you're still working on XP, shame on you. We're looking at you, health service. I threw in that dig. Yes, I did. But yeah, dual screens at minimum. Camera.
Yeah, USB camera. Like to be honest, like out there, a USB camera now is not an expensive thing.
Yeah,
you know, like you can get a decent HD or even a 720 USB camera but the mics can be built into them are quite decent, even if you don't have anything else. But to be honest, I think a headset's still better quality.
Oh, big time. Yeah, headsets should, to stop any audio interference, I always think. And do you know what? Like, it's got to the stage that most laptops now have Bluetooth connectivity. That you should be able to buy yourself even the imitation AirPods or something like that, or some type of Bluetooth headset that you can just stick in and talk to.
Yeah.
Like the quality of them, even around your neck, or some of the ones that you even exercise with, Bluetooth headsets that have a built-in mic, is better than someone sitting in front of a laptop, opening the screen and hoping the webcam and the microphone on a laptop is going to do it, because it's some
part actually in laptop builds they haven't invested a lot in, I think.
Yeah.
In making the microphone better, making the speakers better, or putting a decent camera in. But like everything else, they're trying to make laptops thinner. So you're trying to put a HD camera into something that's maybe 3 mil thick. So what do you expect?
And this is the problem. Now, those are the basic toys. Maybe wireless keyboard and wireless mouse as well.
Yeah.
Now, ideal toys. Now, we like our toys, and we talk tech all the time. But what would your ideal setup in your home office? Like, I know you just invested in Elgato Stream Deck Mini.
Yeah, like that's a real gimmick. It's a gimmicky toy. Do
you think it's gimmicky? I love my Elgato Stream Deck.
Yeah, I like some of the people who in work who have them as well. They have things they do a lot, but I suppose I'm also a keyboard shortcut guy.
Yeah. So
So
you're used.
I'm doing quite, I use quite a lot, but I'm also writing a lot. So like, if example, on mine at the moment, I have my main page is my Teams because I use Teams all the time. I've zoomed in on the other end. I have 4 pages at the moment. So in the middle, I have a basic volume control one,
See,
and
see Elgato. I'm going to just plug Elgato here. Simon has a Stream Deck Mini. He needs a proper Stream Deck, a proper 5x3 Stream Deck. If you want to donate one to him, he will gladly take it off your
I won't
hands.
say no. And so the thing is, I'm always opening folders. So I have some open folders and run a few applications. So that's really it. And then I have loads of Chrome profiles. So I have ones for that.
Do you know what? I've never actually thought of doing that on the Stream Deck to make the Chrome profiles open up
Yeah.
as a hotkey.
I like I look at my desktop here at the moment, and I think there's 5 Chrome profiles for all my voluntary stuff that I'm involved in as well. So it's like it's great. You just click it, and then that one opens up its own Chrome. But that's kind of like I use it for. And I actually have a Zoom one, but I actually haven't been on a Zoom. This is my first Zoom call since I got it, so I'll have to play with that sometime later. So the Zoom ones and stuff like that. But it's a gimmick. To me, it's a gimmick. But some of the people I work with think it's
You,
amazing.
you know that, like, for me doing the podcast and being the host of doing it and having the controls, that like the Stream Deck is so important behind the scenes here. Now, I must say to all my listeners that, yeah, in previous episodes of the podcast, my microphone has not been in the middle of the screen. That's because I have changed around my uh, home office studio setup here at the moment. And with that, I am about to convert the attic in my house. So after this episode of the podcast, you might hear some portal. I'm hoping to do another episode in between that will probably be sort of an outdoor broadcast type of one, and and you might see the goings on of my attic conversion. But once the attic is converted, that's where my new studio will be. And so okay, I'll let Simon finish off beforehand. Headphones.
Yes, decent
Oh,
headphone. I I think in my case, I would make sure there's team certified headphones.
Teams or Zoom certified, yeah.
Right, because it just makes such a difference when you're using the inline controls and things like that. Just works
Yeah.
and it helps. And then, but like, so if I look at my desk here in front of me, I also have a Bluetooth speaker and I have a Google Home. So because I like to listen to music while I'm working, so I have either there to play with, but I often listen on headphones as well, and and a decent mouse. I know everyone has different opinions. I have a vertical mouse, so but that because there's more buttons on it. But
Yeah, yeah.
that's everyone has different things and stuff like that. And a dock.
I've never got my head around the sort of vertical or the gamer type of mice.
Yeah, no,
With the
it just works for me, but that's also down to an age thing, I think, as well. There's a little bit of hand helps.
Don't
We
say
won't.
that.
Yeah,
Don't say that. There's nothing wrong with you're not getting jitters or anything.
no,
No, no.
and depends
That's
on a
usually when
dock.
there's too much coffee going into the system after lack of sleep. Simon.
Yeah, that's it. And I think the biggest thing is the docking station.
Yes,
A
and
single cable in, a single cable out versus having to unplug absolutely everything every time you want to.
and I tell you, I'll get into docking station. Like, you're using Windows laptop, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like here in my office here, I am an Apple guy just because I do so much video editing that I have the latest Mac Mini M1 that I bought recently. Because my other Mac, like a workhorse, it's lasted 6 years. The Mac Mini, but it was just slowing down. And so I've invested recently in a new Mac M1 uh, Mini, but it has its pros and cons. Like the yes, it's a fast processor and it's Apple processor, but I've noticed that some things don't work according to plan. So I had to go out and get talking about hubs. I needed to go out and buy myself a hub. So I bought, and I keep on forgetting the name of this hub, the A-Logic hub, right, which will mean that I will be able to do 3 screens on my computer. Now I did see an amazing YouTube video where someone really tested the A-Logic to uh, total capacity and like attached 6 screens, and the Mac M1 was still churning over perfectly, and there was no latency on any of the screens, and the frame rates and everything was bang on. So the processor was able to carry that. So the A Logic is actually carrying at the moment a USB A hub, which has nearly 7 of the connections being used because I have that many external hard drives when I'm doing videos. And yeah, I did get a 2 terabyte solid state hard drive recently, and it literally is the size of a credit card. From Samsung, amazing, 2 terabyte and very fast. But again, USB-C connection, so you need to have enough USB-C connection. So even with the A Logic, it has one USB-C at the front and one at the back, but you still need to buy yourself another hub if you want to power things, because okay, I have my mixing desk that needs USB-A connection. It's an old Behringer USB, but I'm after getting my hands on the Elgato Facecam, which is over here. And I can tell you right now, guys, this is the product if you want an absolutely slick webcam. The lens on this is absolutely A1. Like I will do a comparison video separately between the Logitech HD 1080p camera, the C920 I think I used to have at one stage. I was using that in previous episodes, but this is the Elgato Facecam, and I have my ring light to one side, but the depth of field and the color on it is amazing. The only thing that you'll have to learn is that it is USB-C, simply to keep the actual frame rate and the latency down. It only works on USB-C. So if you try and plug it into a USB 2 port, it falls over. It doesn't work. So that's one thing. But it will actually, if you have a Stream Deck working on a Windows computer, it has the plugins where you can zoom in and zoom out and fix your color as you work away, which is great for gaming and stuff like that. But they're still updating the plugin, and I was talking to the Elgato and Corsair guys. They're trying to work it on the Mac, and the reason why they can't get it working on the Mac is the M1 chip. And the M1 chip, although it's fast, it gives a lot of hiccups to other companies. Why I had to go out and buy the A-Logic docking station was because the Macs have made the M1 Max that your primary monitor is supposed to be your laptop and your secondary being one other screen. Well, if I want to close my Mac or my I have a MacBook Air laptop as well for work, I don't want to use my laptop as the primary screen. So that's where I had to buy the A-Logic and buy, which has a legacy DisplayLink program, which is giving me the ability to do 3 or more screens. Microphone, I've still always used this microphone. It's usually out of sight, but like I've been offered USB microphones, and
there's like, there seems to be in the market at the moment all those kind of podcasting microphones, even like Shure and a few of the.
well,
Are,
I'm old school. I like my twisting and of knobs and my faders on my mixing desk. So I still have the analog mixing desk and a compressor underneath my table here. But I just like the sound. But I have to say, if you're going basic functionality, dual screens, I totally agree with Simon. I think if you're buying a mid to range a webcam the Logitech range are fantastic,
Yeah.
and the C920s I think work out about £100. But if you're going for top of the range webcam, I can't knock this Elgato Facecam.
Mm.
It is, and would you ever think of putting any extra lights, Simon, in your?
That's what I was actually going to say to you. The other thing is ring lights are so popular now. Like literally every shop you go to that sells a mobile phone
Mm.
or anything to do with mobile phones sell ring lights.
Have you got a ring light plugged in there? Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
No,
don't.
no.
I don't need, and it also depends on your company's culture. Like some companies don't really care if you have your camera on or off. I don't have
That's
mine on
another
that
thing.
often.
Yeah, I'm a now. The only time I ever turn the camera off is if something's going on in the background and there's a baby running into the room or something like that. But I think we've lived through this for 2 years with COVID. That it shouldn't be an embarrassing situation if a kid walks into your
It's a
store.
norm. It's actually
It should
part of
be
the
a norm.
norm. It
It,
is the norm. Yeah, in most companies. I was on a presentation the other day, but with Logitech, where Logitech were presenting, and that was one of the very Logitech and Microsoft were presenting, and the guy from Microsoft, I can never remember his name, but he actually called that out as this. That's acceptable norms now
yeah,
to have interruptions of a dog barking, the alarm going off, a lawnmower going off from the neighbors, all that kind of stuff. So that it's become a norm where 2 years ago people probably would have died of mortification, like
yeah.
that if that happened. So, but yeah, I guess some companies have a culture where camera doesn't matter. Other companies I've heard of, if they actually stop the meeting until you turn your camera on.
Yeah. Mm. Well,
So, but they want to eyeball. So companies are very, I think, personal
yeah,
in about getting. They want to eyeball you and want to see you and want to interact and want to when they're talking to you want to see your reaction.
yeah. And then of course there is the meetings where you just go, this could have been dealt with in an email or a phone call. So
Mm,
there is that level. But I do agree. Like I have the Elgato ring light here, at home that I reviewed a while back on the podcast. It is exceptionally high. Like I have this ring light at the moment at 50%. It nearly blinds my eyes when I have it up full blast. But even the for €100 you can buy the Elgato Keylight Mini, which is battery powered and USB chargeable. But you can just sit that on top of one of your monitors, and it's portable. It's the size of a mobile phone that
mm.
you can just move it around. And I just think if you want something, if you ring lights, yeah, I think ring lights sometimes take up a lot of space. If you want something simple, just a key light mini to just brighten
It's
up the
funny.
room.
I have an ongoing thing with someone in work about ring lights and people with glasses. And
Yeah,
there's you kind of at a point you're going to go spot the ring light because you can see it in the glasses. But that's just being silly. But if you know what I mean, like there, but those are little things. If that's important to you, like on appearance, like it's like in my case, like I think it'd be very. I'd have to have it in a way that like I use my hands, but in a way that it's out of the reflection of my glasses.
but not only that, like here's you at home at the moment doing this podcast. And no, guys, I'm not over Dublin City. This is a green screen in the background. But the nice thing about Zoom or Microsoft Teams now is this whole blurring of the background.
Mm,
I couldn't tell what's going on in the background, or if one of your kids ran around in the background because it's focused on you. And I think you know even with the spotlight tool that's available on Zoom, and I'm sure it's available on Teams as well, that
mm,
you know people can still turn on their cameras, and if you use the interface of these video softwares, you you can spotlight it and make people focus in on the person that is speaking, giving the presentation, and then afterwards open up
yeah.
a team discussion. So as if I was a team lead, I would want to see all my employees with that camera on. I'm not really concentrating on it, but at least I know that they're there compared to I'm paying attention. Then
Yeah. But it's also, you know, like if you're having a conversation with someone, you want to see them and you want to gauge their reactions and
it's a video
get them.
call. If I didn't want to see you, I would have picked up the phone and made the phone call. That's
Yeah.
my thoughts. Yeah.
And
So
yeah, I guess the part I do love about when you're on Zoom calls and Teams calls is when you're discussing something, it's very easy to share something you're working on together, to talk about it collaboratively in the sense of an Excel sheet or a document or a program or application. And it's just the convenience of that makes it where the video calling is where I think we benefit from where I work anyway, that it's, you know, like you can just throw up something and we can discuss and sort it out, or you can share images and etc. when you're talking about
it's
stuff.
made things so much. So we talked earlier on about call centers and Zoom and creating the call center, but the whole idea of like even solving a problem if you're out on site, or if so
Mm.
one of your customers dial in and go, Simon, the order's not working in this room. You can direct them to a Zoom or Teams call,
Yeah.
or let's say they even go down to Zoom or Teams call, even a WhatsApp video call, and they can hold up the camera. Sorry, I'm still pointing to the wrong camera here. It's like I'm in a TV studio. I have two webcams. You can point up the camera, and they could be showing you the rack, and you go, oh wait, well there's not a light on that Crestron processor. Okay, the Crestron processor has gone down, and it is a service call, or you can try
Mm.
and that's the
Or
difference.
in
Like
most
video,
cases now you can reboot most stuff even remotely.
yeah, but like the fact is that
That's
you're not
yeah.
verbally relying on someone to verbally say it's not working, and then
Mm.
by doing the likes of video calls through WhatsApp or Zoom or whatever, you can identify if they've done something very basic that's causing it to not work, or if it's a more serious matter.
Yeah, because I've seen like even straight like someone goes to site to fix something and they're not quite sure what the solution is, and like a quick call and the whole team can pick up and join in. So
Yeah,
now you have a single engineer going, but you have the experience maybe of 5 to 10 engineers
yeah.
like on a call with you fixing it.
What extra additional dream things would you like to have in your home work from home environment?
Hmm. I don't know. Yeah, it's like sometimes I kind of think, oh, would I like one of the tablets with the pen? Do you
Yeah,
know, instead of your mouse, do you know, kind of like
yeah,
if you're doing more graphicy stuff or like I think in my case, sometimes I'm talking to the designers and I have a load. I've done up a rough drawing in Visio of here's all the equipment, and to be able to kind of just throw it up and then with a pen go, okay, I want a cable here, cable here. So if you're doing your wiring diagrams or whatever, or
yeah.
that kind of
Sometimes it
thing,
is a bit clunky when you're trying to use even a gamer's mouse. It's a bit clunky to be able to
yeah.
draw a line on where you want to
Or
know
or
where
the
you.
other thing I would probably like is actually a Surface tablet. So when I go to a site, I'm not dragging my laptop with me. I'm just bringing a Surface with you where you can just annotate over stuff or just make quick notes. I've been on a few recently, and like people with iPads and they're just able to mark up and just that kind of stuff. So I guess I like a laptop, but I don't like the idea of having to drag it around the place with me. So I prefer something that's in the middle. So I think the Surface would
Yeah,
be cool.
that's where I have the MacBook Air for work. But having said that, I need the additionals that I can still plug it in to an A
Mm.
logic in my office, and then plug it into external drives and stuff like that to do bits and pieces. Because yeah, it's a MacBook Air. It's 500 gigabytes hard drive, but when I'm churning through the amount of videos that I churn through, I need
Mm.
the external drives, and I have to say, like, wow, I was just so impressed when I seen the little Samsung 2 terabyte drive that's half the size of my mobile phone or maybe a credit card size and could fit in my back pocket that I can carry around with the Mac. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
But it just shows you how small technology is getting
If you can get
and
the
large
components. Yeah.
if we can get the components. Yes.
what going sort of off our topic of conversation for tonight, which is working from home, and again to all our listeners, we love to hear you with comments. Would you rather work from home 5 days a week or all the time? Would you like a hybrid model approach, or would you rather be on site all the time? Let us know. But with regards to chip shortages and tech shortages, are you still experiencing as much problems, Simon, with when?
Oh yeah. It's getting in some cases worse. Like
Has this war caused more problems?
I think it's probably going to cause shipping problems
Mm.
more than anything. I don't think there's not many components being made in the Ukraine or Russia that affect most of us. Most of us in our technology in AV, the technology, it's the chips and they're in China and out that direction. So it's shipping containers,
Yeah.
and trying to get enough shipping containers to get your products from the far side of the world is an issue. And manufacturer lead times are no longer talking weeks; we're talking months. I think in most cases. And
Did you see that ship that went on fire with all the luxury cars and sunk to
yes,
the sea? That was one of those was a birthday present for you, Simon. That was
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Like insurance company is not paying out, and all the sponsorship deals we have for the podcast as well. That I'm trying to work on getting the replacement, but you might end up with a bike.
It's okay as long as we can get some sponsorship names on it. There, we might make some money over it still.
Yeah, we can still and with being green on the environment as well. With that type of approach.
But yeah, but I think it's a big issue lead times. But even taking a twist, like I'm hearing stories like of switches taking a long time now at the moment. So in most of our AV installs, switches are the core of
Yeah,
our networks, and if we can't get switches, we're really kind of stuck.
yeah. I remember you told me, and it probably is nearly a month ago now, that you were having a problem getting even HDMI cables. Has that
I've
improved?
heard, yeah, like I've heard of shortages of HDMI cables, just chips, in HDMI cables nowadays, and it's just yeah, it's like silly little things like that. You're going, but HDMI cables, like everyone, like anyone can go out and buy a consumer cable, but unfortunately, most of our installs we need cables that are a little bit more robust and better quality, of course. So yeah, that can be an issue.
Now, with trade shows coming up, I'm going to LTSMG in April. Now, to talk to my listeners personally, I'll try and do some outside broadcasts and a couple of podcasts. They're not going to be as slick as our other ones, but that's because my attic is being converted as of 2 weeks' time, and that's going to be about a 3 week turnaround. Then get everything kitted back up into so everything's as soon as I finish this podcast, everything's going and process it. Everything's going into storage, into a storage container, and then in about a month's time, I probably have the new setup, and I look forward to sending videos of that. But I will be going to LTSMG in April as well, and I think while I go to LTSMG, that's where my wife is going to take apart my design of what the attic's going to look like and design it as something else. Bit worried about that. But yeah, office, what office? But that's the plans anyway. So, but you're not going to ISE or anything, Simon.
No, there's no talk of it this year, but I think next year, unless something crazy happens, I think next year is probably the year
I
when
think,
these
yeah,
things,
I'm looking forward to
most
next year.
people, I think there's a need to get out and meet the tech, but I think they need the year to sort out this supply issue.
Yeah.
Even though they're not letting them stop, I'm seeing new products being launched all the time. So
Plenty of roadshows on the horizon, like restaurants coming over to
Ireland,
Ireland.
the next roadshow.
The next roadshow. Looking forward to seeing some of that, and I've heard more. That's doing in-house stuff. Harman are doing a lot of in their building.
Events, yeah, like they're doing a lot of events at the moment on, and they're doing a lot. They've stepped up their training, I think, dramatically as well, recently. So there seems to be a lot of, I think there's some AMX stuff coming out. There's at the moment as well for people who still use that. It's not a dig at AMX. It's just not as popular as Crestron or QSC at the moment, but there are still people using it out there. So
Yeah.
Logitech seems to be really a big one at the moment. I think
Logitech is sort of leveling it out between consumer and the workplace as well in the environment. And like people always thought of Logitech as more gaming type of end of things, and it's a lot more. But like it's just like
webcams and headsets. That's all they do. Is like
Elgato, yeah, a lot of their stuff is seen for gaming. So even their latest foot pedal, 3 buttons, so it's like a Stream Deck at your foot. But like, yeah, you could use it for gaming. You could also use it for if you're in work and you wanted to, or if you're doing a teleprompter. I was pitching this idea to someone recently that it could be used as a teleprompter. Like if you go one foot going forward, 1 foot pausing, and 1 foot going back, you could set up PowerPoint slides and be using that through a USB connection.
It could be a handy one for muting. Like if you're muting your video calls instead of you have so it just looks more natural that you're not moving your hand around or.
Well, let us know what you think, listeners. That's all from the All Things Techie podcast, episode 56. Simon, thank you very much for joining us again. You have any exciting things coming up on the horizon? As I convert the attic and hopefully
no, it's the same for me. I'm just moving hopefully into a hybrid work lifestyle, out visiting more clients, more in the office a few days a week maybe, and working from home. But other than that, no, there's nothing else majorly happening at the moment. So
are you sort of like using the components are delayed on a container? I get to stay at home a bit longer and work on paperwork.
I work on paperwork all the time, so it doesn't really affect me, but it's probably more about your diplomacy than anything, because you're trying to keep your clients happy and also informed of these situations, because it's beyond anyone's control.
It's true. It is behind anyone's control. If you'd like to get in contact with the program, the splash screen is on your in front of the video at the moment, or if you're listening on audio, we're on all your favorite podcast apps, Spotify and so forth. Please hit the subscribe button. If you're watching our program on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It makes us feel nice and cozy and warm inside. Simon and I always welcome people to follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Our details are on the screen, at Simon Lang AB, at Justin or Dawson, or you can follow the podcast itself, AB Tech Junkies, because we love AB, we love tech, and we're sort of junkies towards AB and tech, but not in the other type of fashion. From me, Justin, and Simon, thanks for joining.
Talk to you soon. Bye.